Hi there, it's Nicole for Fawn's August 2014 Inspiration Week, and today the design team is featuring the Monster Mash stamp set, and I created a shaker card using the monsters as well as one of the sentiments from the stamp set, and I'm also going to use these great new stitched rectangles dies from Fawn. There's what's called the large set, which will have the largest size of the mats, and then the small set. They actually work really well together. I am using the small die set for my card today. I chose the second and third largest dies from the stamp set, and I'm simply securing them. You can see I'm using a little post-it tape so that I can make sure and get them lined up perfectly so I can cut the front frame. Now I cut the backing from a piece of dark gray cardstock, or I guess black cardstock, and then I also cut a piece from a transparency. It's going to take several layers to put the shaker together. So once I have the frame die cut, I'm going to go ahead and take a little adhesive and place it on the back of that pattern paper frame. This is some pattern paper from the Fawn Sweater Weather collection. I used one of their 6x6 papers from the 6x6 paper pad. I love that I don't have to trim those down to run them through my die cutting machine. Now the transparencies, and most of them do, have some sort of protective film. This one had protective film on both sides, and I didn't put it all the way down because I forgot that I am going to be stamping a little monster from the Monster Mash stamp set, and I want him to actually be on the front of the card. He is going to have some googly eyes, and I couldn't place him behind the transparency because those eyes are dimensional. So I'm going to place him on the front, and I'll show you what I mean here in a little bit. So I've stamped some of my images here, the monster images, using some Memento Tuxedo Black ink, because I'm going to be coloring these in with some Copic markers. I'm going to take a scrap of black paper left over from when I die cut the backing piece for my shaker. I'm going to rub a little anti-cling powder tool over that, and I'm stamping this thought bubble from the Fawn A Birdie Told Me stamp set, and then I'll stamp the greeting inside of that. The greeting is of course from the Monster Mash stamp set. So I'm stamping both of them in Versamark and heat embossing them in white on black cardstock to really make them pop. So once I have all of those pieces, I can really start kind of putting everything together for my shaker card. I've die cut the thought bubble with the coordinating die, clean those stamps real quick and put them away. And then I will start coloring in the adorable little monsters from the Monster Mash stamp set. I'm using just a few Copic markers here. I used R20 for the cheeks and then BG11 for the kind of aqua colored monster you probably saw at the beginning of the video, and BG32 for my kind of mid-tone color, and BG49 for my darkest color, which is quite a bit darker. We'll add some nice shading, and I'm going to use quite a bit lighter hand with that. Then over my darkest color, I'm going to go back with my mid-tone color, the BG32, and smooth out that dark color quite a bit, and then go back with my lightest color, the BG11, and smooth it out even more. And I can go over that as many times as I need to get the desired effect, simply smoothing out those colors and everything. Now he is super cute the way he is, but I have become addicted to adding little dots and detail to my little critters and characters. I think it makes them so much fun. So I'm going to go back with my darkest marker, that BG49, and I am adding dots to pretty much the same areas where I added the darkest coloring with this marker before. And some of the dots are bigger than others, just kind of here and there adding it. And I think it really adds a lot, especially to these little monster characters. I'm going to color in his arms and feet and horns with some orange colors. I don't know that I did his feet on this one because they aren't going to show, so I think I just left those. Went back in with a little bit of gray to add some shadows there. So for the party hats, I'm going to go ahead and fill in some color. I'm going to make all of them the same. Used B21 and 24 there for the blue. And next I will add a little yellow. Oh, I went in with my orange. I must have saw something I didn't like there. I decided to skip from my party hat, which is sometimes how I color, and go ahead and start coloring in my large monster here, the one-eyed monster. I decided I wanted him to be kind of orange-ish, and so I just went ahead and moved on to him. I'm using YR16, YR18. Smooth that out just a little bit. Went back in with my YR15 and smoothed out. Going back with the YR18 to add some of those darker shadows and things. And YR16 to smooth out again. Same thing as my teal monster. I'm going to add some detail to him because I think it's fun. And I went ahead and took a red marker, the R46, to add some little dots here and there, especially in the areas that were already darker from my Copic coloring. And I think the red is a nice complement to the orange in the monster. So I gave him a little bit bigger dots here and there. I'm going to go ahead and color in this little bow with the same blue colors I used for the top part of the party hat. B21, 24, and 26. And then I'm ready to color in my small monster. I'm going to have him be pink, or her. RV52 is my lightest color, and then RV55 is kind of my mid-tone color. And then I'll use RV66 for my darkest color. And because this one's so small, I opted not to add any of the dot detail for this one. I'm going to simply smooth out and blend all those colors really nicely and leave this one as is. I'm going to make the mid stripe on the party hat red. Just used a couple colors there to blend that out. And then for the bottom, I will use some yellows. Once I have all of the images colored in, I'm going to use the coordinating dies, and there are coordinating dies for all of the images here to die cut all of my little monsters. On the finished card, there are 2 more of those aqua monsters, so I did go ahead and color and die cut 2 additional monsters to complete my card. So you saw me place the little monster through the frame there, and then I did go ahead and secure the transparency frame to that front panel. I'm going to place the thought bubble behind the transparency. It is not dimensional, so it will not interfere with that front at all. And then I'm taking some of this Scotch foam tape, and I'm going to triple layer it actually for this card, to create the dimension I need to make this a shaker. And most of the time I only double this foam tape. However, because I was using very dimensional googly eyes inside my shaker as opposed to something more flat like sequins or seed beads or whatever, I felt like I needed that additional layer, so I did go ahead and do 3 layers. I wanted the monsters to kind of, well, especially the one at the top there, and then the ones that are going to be on the outside of the shaker, to kind of feel like they were hanging out and coming in from the sides and stuff for fun. Now I just have to put together my scene, which I'm simply adhering my monsters and their accessories, the party hats and the little bow tie, to the front of my frame. Get those placed exactly where I want them. I just used some glue dots. I felt like those were easy to use for this particular project. And then I'm going to take an assortment of wiggle eyes or googly eyes. I have quite a few. I have had them for years. You can pick them up lots of different places, but I have a bunch that are large in size, and I don't find them very easy to use on my little critter stamps and things like Lawn Fawn stamps. But they worked well, and I was able to use up some of them by placing them in my shaker card, which I think is really awesome. So I get some use out of a supply that I've had for a really long time. This is where I realized I was going to need another layer of foam tape, because some of especially the larger googly eyes just were two-dimensional, and they wouldn't move at all once I placed that black backing on my shaker. So I'm just creating a real quick additional layer. That's 3 layers of the foam tape. It's pretty thin foam tape, so if you have thicker foam tape, you probably wouldn't have to do that many layers. And then I place the backing part on, and you can shake it and see how fun that is. This is an especially fun card for maybe kids. Now, it doesn't show here, but I did stamp an additional greeting from another Lawn Fawn stamp set on a thought bubble, and I had to very carefully take my shaker apart, and I placed it inside the shaker. You'll see it on the finished project. I'm going to glue some googly eyes in place, die cut another stitched frame for the background of my card from some sweater weather paper, and tuck in my other monsters and add a few sequins, and this card is finished. I hope you've enjoyed this video showcasing the new Monster Mash stamp set and dies from Lawn Fawn. For more information, please visit my blog. Thanks for watching.